Hi everyone, on the chocolate call today, I'm going to use the Make Your Own Chocolate Kit from Glee Gum. We've made this before many years ago. They've changed the type of box, and last time I didn't make a video. So today, come on this journey with me. I'll show you how you make chocolate. Let's look at what's in this box first. Well, you get directions, which also have the history of chocolate. It's great for children. You get cocoa powder, cane sugar, cocoa butter. Yep, this is what cocoa butter is, folks. Starter crystals, these little tiny paper cups that put them in, a thermometer that's really important later, and cocoa beans. Zoom in here, cameraman. All right, be back in a moment. I'll prepare the ingredients. All right, we're back. We're gonna put the ingredients in. First, we put our cocoa butter in. Never seen cocoa butter before. It is yellow, it is hard. Now the directions say to use a double boiler, but I've made this before and I've made it without a double boiler. Basically just have it on very low heat. It immediately starts melting. Remember, cocoa butter, the melting point of chocolate is body temperature, so just do everything on low heat. You don't need to rush it. Take a little time. You see already in the pot, do you see that, the sheen? It's been like less than 30 seconds and you've already got the sheen because it's melting. Use a plastic spatula or a wooden spoon. I love my plastic spatula, so that's what I'm using. So, approaching 3 minutes, you can see it's almost completely melted. I keep stirring, keep stirring. See the, can you see the yellow color, the golden yellow color? Okay, once it is all melted, take it off the heat. I dump in the cocoa powder. I dump in the confectioner's powder. And I'm going to stir it vigorously, or as vigorously as I can with this spatula. Notice I'm doing this all off the heat. It's going to go back on the heat, but right now it's off the heat. You want to get it all mixed, all blended here. Gotta do it quickly before the cocoa butter gets solid again. All the pieces out. So make sure you get off the sides. Okay. Now, put this back. Put it back on very low heat. Okay. All right. Now we're going to do this for about 3 minutes. All right. So now we turn off the heat completely. And we're going to cool this over here. All right. Now I've put this measuring thing on the side of the pan. It should cool down to 94 degrees. And when it does, then we will add in the vanilla and the starter crystals. All right, so these are the cocoa beans, and the shells are on them. They've been roasted. So you can take them off, and you have to be kind of careful. You want to separate the shells from the beans themselves. It's kind of hard. If you've ever wondered what cocoa nibs are, that's basically when you're poor at shelling beans like I am, and you get the tiny little pieces, that is what the cocoa nibs are. Tiny little pieces. They usually don't use them to make chocolate. See, they're really hard. This one I can't get started. I'm weak. The Chocolate Priestess is weak. I can't get these other two started. Oh well. So These are the beans, and I'm looking carefully. I don't want any part of the shell in them. So a bean that's unbroken, not be much smaller than the shell itself, and these tiny little pieces then is what you'd use as nibs. You put these into a grinder, you grind them up, and that makes the chocolate liqueur. The process of getting the cocoa butter comes from post-roasting, when they're hanging, cooling, and drying. So it's a very long process. I'm glad this kit doesn't have a start from that position, because that'd be a lot of work. So just think about the next time you're getting chocolate. This is a lot of work. Alright, now that the temperature is approximately correct, we're going to put in the vanilla. I used 1/8 of a teaspoon. They tell you not to use more than 1/4. Add in starter crystals, which are actually chips, like this. And we're going to stir it until it's completely melted. So this is called tempering. And they use big machines in these to temper things. When you buy like a couverture, if you're a small chocolate maker and you buy couverture, which just means the chocolate that you're using, that's had all this done to it, the place you buy it from would probably have huge machines that, would do this tempering. You can buy tempering machines if you're a small chocolate maker as well. How many of us at home, though, are going to go through this whole process to make chocolate all the time? Let's be blunt, not many. But this is a great way, a great gift if you want to show little kids, like, Mommy, how is my chocolate made? Well, let's find out. You gotta take some patience, though. That took about, I would say, 15, 16 minutes to cool down. As you can see, I have to really stir this. You don't want any lumps, because any lumps you have are going to stay there. Of course, the more you stir it, the easier it becomes. But this is why my grandmother never had to lift weights to have, nice guns, because she did this all by hand all the time. Well, there we go. It's entirely smooth. At this point, if you want to add something to it like nuts or fruit, this is when you do it. Frankly, I don't really think there's enough here to do it. So we're going to come over here and we're going to start putting this in the cups. You don't have to rush too much. It's not going to solidify super fast or anything. Take your time. I want to use all the chocolate that's possible, though, so I'm scraping it off. A few months ago, I would have said, or you can just lick it off, and done that for you, but I can't really do that anymore right now. Plus, I want to put them in the container. So I'm going to use a little spoon. I'm just going to take some, put it in the paper cup. There we go. You could probably use this with silicone molds as well, but since I wasn't sure how much this is going to make, and the cups came with a kit, I wanted to use them. Alright, well, in a little bit I'll show you what they all look like when they're all filled. Alright, so now I've put the chocolate into the little cups. You can see them right here. And as I was doing that, near the end it started to get harder. You can, according to instructions, put them in the refrigerator for 15 minutes. They will harden up. I personally like to just let them sit at room temperature. It takes a few more hours, but they do harden up. And the reason I like to do that then is if I'm serving them at a party, they're at room temperature already, so they don't sweat and get messy. And they're a touch softer, so they're easier for people to eat. Now, of course, chocolate, since it is a thick liquid, will take the shape of whatever you put them into. So I hope that was educational and you learned a little bit more about chocolate. This isn't exactly how the big chocolate companies make it or how the original peoples, the Mesoamericans, made it, but this is a great way to explore this with your kids, and it's fun. See you next time on the Chocolate Cup.